Hello, everybody. Now, you should be able to hear us and see us okay today. I went and double checked to make sure all the equipment was working so we don't have a repeat of last week. So just give me a quick, let me know if you can hear us okay. And we'll get into things. But first, I notice we have a new person to the channel, Judy Smith. Hello, Judy Smith. Yeah, Marianne is here, and Barb, and Janet, and Sue, and Billy's here. And let's go down to Miss Janet Lloyd. I think I said hello. Melena's here. Pamela's here. Donna Bogart is here. Jan is here. Green Quilts is here. Stephanie is here. Hi, Stephanie. Brenda Mitchell's here, still in Hawaii. I see Brenda. Quilting in the Man Cave. Quilty World greetings from Florida. Okay, I think that's somebody new. And Derek is here. Purple Wall's here, which is K. Suzanne. Janet Fraser. So, we have the regulars and a few newbies, which is always nice to have newbies. Newbies, you're all welcome here. Hopefully, you'll become a regular, unless we scare you off. That happens. Shelly's here. Glenn is here. And we'll just get into it in a moment here, just to see that more people are coming in. So I don't want to cut anybody off. So how's the sound? Jeffrey says it's better. Hi, Jeffrey. Jeffrey sounds great. Okay, good. That's good to know. I have 3 printers running at the same time today in the background, but I put in the noise suppressor into the filters on this OBS thing that we use, and I think that'll work okay. Hello, Teresa. And Mary O's is here. Hello, Mary O's. New here and a beginner quilter. Well, welcome, Mary. Nice to have you here. We all have to start sometime.
Hey, Jeannie.
Jeannie's here. Hi, Jeannie. And Dana is here. Hello, Dana. Another regular, she says, is here. Regular, or are you petite? And there's a joke in there somewhere. Okay. Well, everybody says you can hear us and you can see us. So great. Let's get started. Let's jump right into...
What's Walter working
What's
on?
Walter working on?
Not working on anything right
So
now.
it's making me crazy. But yeah, so nothing. What do you do? What? I still haven't figured out what you do with all your time.
I was busy taking photos of the broken transoms
yes.
and dating them and putting them in my and recording the temperatures and putting it on my thing.
Yeah, we're having...
And let me see. I've been
Priscilla's here. Shirley's here.
I do odd things. I don't know.
Yeah, you do odd things. Well, you've been making your wonderful cheesy bread. Walter got... Last weekend, we had homemade pizza. Walter decided to make what? You decided to use a different recipe?
Well, I have mixed results from trying to make homemade pizza because we just have a regular oven and stuff like that. And it comes out okay, but I've never really liked the crust that I produce. So every time I've tried, it's not really turned out great. So I found a recipe for a pan pizza, which you use a cast iron pan. And I thought, well, I'll give that a try. And actually, it came out really, really good.
Hello,
But,
100% proof.
So the only thing is that the crust is a bit thick, but that's okay. And then, but then what I ended up doing is I ended up making 2 batches of dough that week. And so I made one into a pizza. And then the rest, I thought, well, I don't want to just throw it out or anything. So I made it into, I just made it as if it was a pizza, but I put cheese on top of it. And it was sort of became a cheesy bread. And so I made 2 since 4. So, and then I'll just chop them up and put them in the freezer. And then we'll take out a piece as we require it, for if you have a salad or something like that.
Yeah. So actually, tastes really good. Came out really well. So that's our new craze. So tonight for Din Dins, I'm making a chicken Caesar salad, and we'll have some of Walter's famous cheesy bread. What are people saying here? 100 proof is here. Yay. Um, yeah, it's okay, Shirley. I kind of liked your spelling of it. Maybe I'll change it. She has spelt my name as Stefan. No, not Stefan. Stevan. Yeah. Diane's here. Hi, Diane. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? Marchan is here. Hi, all. Made it not too butchered. I was cutting background strips. I think she means late.
Stephanie says, Walter, I'm hired for cheesy bread as a retreat.
Oh, I mean, cheese bread. Well, maybe we can mix up a batch of it and keep it frozen, and then when we get there, it'll be fine.
Or I can take the ingredients and
oh yeah, that's right, because we got a kitchen there.
Yeah.
Oh, cooking with Wally. I had an episode on that might be fun. Who else is here? Tracy's here. Hi, Tracy. Brandy. Yep.
Barb, the recipe, if you go onto YouTube and look at Jenny Can Cook and look up pan pizza recipe, and you'll find it.
But can Jenny really cook? I don't know. That recipe is good. I'm just looking here. I'm trying to catch up. Nancy's here. And Teresa says, can you just freeze the dough and take it out as you need it?
I'm not sure. I was going to do that, but I wasn't sure if it would freeze okay because it's a yeast dough. So you probably can, but I haven't tried it yet.
Well, the yeast just goes dormant when it's cold, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's why you often have to soak it or put it in a warm place.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It was pretty easy to make. You make the dough and you let it rise in a warm place for about an hour. And then you put it in the pan and let it raise again while it's in the pan for about an hour. And then you cook it.
Well, the pan, though. Explain the pan.
It's a cast iron frying pan that you use.
So it kind of makes a deep dish. If you do it as a pizza, it makes sort of a deep dish pizza, but it's a great crust because it's nice and soft and doughy, like bready, like kind of a thing. You did really well. Oh, Mel's here again. Hi, Mel. Nice to see you. Made 2 weeks in a row. That's great. Marianne says, have you made crust in a bread machine? Have you made crust?
Yes, I have. I have. Actually, when I made that, I put some of the stuff in the bread machine, but it's a very small amount. It only takes about a cup and a half flour. So I did it made the dough in the bread machine, but it was such a small volume, I wasn't sure if it was going to form the dough properly. So I made a second batch just in a bowl. And because it's a no-knead recipe, so
you don't need it.
Yeah.
Oh, don't need that.
I actually that's why I had two batches. Both batches turned out fine. And the last one that I made, I just did it in a bowl because I didn't find that it was any advantage doing it in the bread maker.
Actually, the last batch you made, you added garlic to it.
Yeah, garlic food,
which was nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
Garlic and cheese. That was good. Shelly made spring rolls yesterday. It was fun, but won't do that again. Yeah, they're a lot of work for the time it takes you to make them. Are they that much better than ones you can get from like a Chinese restaurant or something like that? Didn't you make something like that once years ago? We had egg roll wrappers, and you made spring rolls or something.
Yeah, I made that. I made samosas with egg roll wrappers and stuff like that before too. Actually, I'd do the samosas again, but I don't know if I'd go out of my way to make spring rolls. I'm not a big spring roll fan.
No. Oh, you're not?
I mean, it's okay if you're having Chinese food.
Well, I don't know. Every time we ordered Chinese, you want spring rolls, so
no, I don't know.
Well, you used to.
No, we used to have spring rolls because I used to order a meal for two, and it came with it.
Okay, fine. Whatever. I stand corrected. Barb says Jenny used to be a talk show host years ago.
Oh, that could be.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I kind of modified her recipe a little bit in that she's had two versions of the recipe. One that takes a long time where you set the dough overnight, and the other one, she's got it to have it rise on the counter for 3 hours or something. But I don't do that. I put the I put the stuff in a bowl and put it in a warm place for about an hour, and it works. I mean, if you set it on the counter, then it depends on how warm your house
Yeah,
is.
well, true. Um, oh, Paula's here. Hi, Paula, and Lucy is here. Um, Samosas are Stephanie's favorite. Yeah, we haven't had samosas in a while. You know, it's hard to get good ones, though, at
Yeah, I've
least in
made
this
them
area.
before with egg roll
Yeah.
wrappers, and actually they came out really good because you know what you can put in them, right? So you make your own stuff.
Because just like everything, sometimes these ones you buy in the grocery store, you know, like President's Choice or whatever, for those of you that are Canadian will know what I'm talking about, they've got nothing in them. But there is a place in a town, a couple of towns over from us that we haven't been there in quite a long time, but they make all kinds of Indian food that you can, you know, pick up, take out kind of a thing. And we bought their samosas, and their samosas were
Yeah.
fairly good. I remember there was a kid in my class at school who used to go to some place in Scarborough, which was famous for the samosas.
Yeah, actually, apparently they line up to get.
Yeah,
them.
they line up for him, but he brought in a whole bunch of them in the
Yeah.
school.
Actually, they
were
are
good.
actually
They
very
were really
good.
good. Yeah. Lucy says we had Chinese takeaway tonight in celebration of our 40th wedding anniversary. Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, congratulations, happy anniversary.
It's our 40th anniversary this year in December too. Hi Dale, and yep, everybody's saying happy anniversary to Lucy. Shelley says I'm making seduction bread today, a knockoff of the kind you can buy. It has 4 kinds of seeds. Oh, seduction. Oh, I get it. Seduction. I don't like seed breads.
Yeah, Steve bitches every time I get multi.
Yeah, because they're all everywhere. The seeds don't stick on the bread. They fall all over. You're picking seeds up for a year on that. Plus they get stuck between your teeth. I'm not a big fan of bread that has a lot of seeds to it. I mean, it's one of those things, I guess. So anyways, could you go over and get me that pouch? The one on the, yeah.
I don't see it.
It's on the ledge. Up by the S.
Oh, you're pointing over here.
Bring me the pillow too, please. Can't get good help, really. So here's what I've been working on. I'm just going to show you a couple of things. Won't show those yet. So I'm just going to pull it up here on the screen for you to see. I'll switch over. So one of these you've seen already before, but I'm getting ready to. Well, I've actually quilted it now. Where is it? There we go. There we are. That's the star-crossed quilt. And I've shown it in various stages. I'm not sure if you saw it to this point. Now, in this picture, I don't have a picture of it being quilted because I quilted it yesterday. I got it done yesterday, and the thread I picked was a little too light. You get some texture in the quilt, but you don't see the quilting. Of course, you won't see it in this picture, as I said, because I took this picture before that was done. I've got my binding made, and tomorrow I'm going to get it bound, and then I'll show it to everybody with that. But here's something, and I'm glad Stephanie's here, because this is Stephanie's pattern. It's a paper piecing, a foundation paper piecing pattern for a block, and I believe she called it, Stephanie, didn't you call that the Art Deco Star? And I love Art Deco, and I really like this. I stuck pretty much to Stephanie's color scheme that she suggested right on the pattern, but I really haven't done any foundation paper piecing in quite a while, and it was kind of fun to do, and I really like this block. I just made 4 of them to try it out, and I just put them all together in just this kind of array. But it would make a really cool quilt, and I might do that at some point in time. Oh, I just noticed something I didn't want to do, but I did do. You'll notice there's 2 colors of black in these blocks. 2 of the blocks have dark black, and 2 of the blocks have a lighter black. That's because I don't have a lot of black in my stash of fabrics. In fact, I found this one, the darker one, as a fat quarter, And then I did have a little bit of, I had a half meter of another black, and that's the lighter one. So I used those. I now have black because we went to Ultimate Sewing yesterday and I bought a bolt of pretty much basic black. It's just not a color I always use, but I thought it would be good with
Could have asked me. I have some black.
Oh, of course you do. Whatever. But yeah, it was kind of fun to do, and I haven't done paper piecing in a long time, and so yeah, I might do more of it. And then I want to show you something else, and this is maybe I shouldn't show this to you, but the reason I am is because Stephanie announced, I found her video today. She announced that she's doing a free class with So Yeah people, and she's doing a little bag. And so I went and I downloaded the pattern. I thought, I can't wait for Stephanie's class. Sorry, Stephanie. I decided that I would go out on my own and do it. I think I should have waited for your class. I haven't made a bag in a while. And, well, okay, here it is. This is the bag. It's a zipper bag. There it is. Little zipper bag. It's a cute bag. It's patchwork. Use a mini charm pack. I didn't have a mini charm pack, but I had a charm pack. So I cut them in 2.5-inch squares. And how come that thing just went over to that camera?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, now it's coming over here. Whoa, weird.
Maybe you pushed the wrong button.
No, I didn't. Okay, it's doing this thing again. See, we're getting it here, right?
Yeah.
Where everybody else is seeing, but up on our screen up there, it's totally different. So I don't know what's going on with that. That's something, YouTube's been fooling around with things. Anyways, Stephanie will notice that I'm missing something, the tabs. I did put them on, and I don't know how he did it, but they ended up, when I turned it right sides out, my tabs were inside. And
sounds like an idiot.
Yeah, well, really. And I'm really not happy with the way the inside looks, and I don't think you can see, but you can see the seams. And I don't want to see the seams. I'm used to making bags with linings. This one, like, so yeah, I think I'm going to have to take your class, Stephanie, for this one. I mean, it's cute from the outside. It's all right on the inside too, but I'm sure that there's something I haven't done right for that. But anyways, Stephanie's having this class. If you go to Stephanie's YouTube channel, you'll see her announcement of it. She has a link to the class. The class is free. The pattern is free. And I think it's on March the 10th. And I think I forget what I think it was, Stephanie, you'll have to tell us the timing of it, because I think it was Pacific time. And that's why I didn't sign up for the class, because it's kind of late in the day for me when it's Pacific time. But I may anyways, because it's fun. It's really cute. I mean, there's no two ways about that.
Everything's laughing at you.
Yeah, probably. And this is why I'm an idiot quilter. Stephanie says I will do a tutorial and put it up then. I think what Stephanie's talking about is the Art Deco. I maybe shouldn't be showing your stuff, Stephanie. I'm sorry if I'm jumping the gun here. I just thought about it, but I really loved those. So
Derek says got various patterns and kits for paper piecing, just never seem to get around to it. So
well, I found I didn't really do the paper piecing the way Stephanie, I think, does it. I found this video where you only need to print the pattern out once that you're using. You know, usually on foundation paper piecing, you have to rip the paper off at the end, so you need multiple copies of it. Well, this one you didn't. And I thought it was really easy to follow. And I forget, I think I'm going to talk about it on Idiot Quilter this week, and I'll put the link up for it. I mean, there's different ways you can do foundation paper piecing, and you know what? You have to get your mind around the various methods and find the one that works for you, and I really like this one. It worked really well. And then I made this mistake. It's really not, well, it is a mistake. What it is it was supposed to be a mug rug, okay? And I've made a couple more of them beside, and they turned out okay. But for some reason, when I made this one, I forgot to put, it's an in the hoop project, my embroidery machine, and you already put the batting into it before you do it, before you do the stitching out and everything. And also, there's quilting on this. I added quilting to it, and it's hard to see in here. See the little white curly cues? Well, the thing is, you lay out in your hoop your batting on top of your stabilizer, and then you lay your fabric, your top fabric on top of that. Then you should quilt it first. And I did that on the mug rugs. I forgot to do it on this one. So I was merrily going along and I did my embroidery and everything. And then I realized, oh, I forgot to do the quilting. Well, so I went in and I altered the quilting program a little bit. So it did the quilting pretty much around him. Although you can see there's a little bit that's on top of him as well. Not a major problem. So I'm thinking, okay, well, that worked out all right. That's okay. Then I realized when I'm sewing the backing onto it, going, oh, I never put batting in this. So as a mug rug, it's just going to be 2 pieces of fabric laying on the table, no dimension to it. So then I thought, well, okay, fine, I'll make another one. But then I thought, well, I don't want to waste this one. So I had some polyfill. So I made it into a cushion for little heads. It's a kitty pillow. Little kitty could put their head on that. Or you could use it as a pin cushion, I suppose. Whatever. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Whatever. I'm an idiot. So, what are people saying? Back it up here. Derek says, I've got various patterns and kits for paper piecing. I just never seem to get around to doing it. It does take time. I found foundation paper piecing does take some time. Tracy loves the purple. Yeah, Shirley's there laughing her head off. Yeah, looks good. It's staying on you. Yeah.
That's not laughing on Shirley's. That's like love.
Okay,
Kisses.
whatever.
That's not laughing. Learn to read your emojis.
I come from a time period where we didn't have emojis. We just used our fingers. Here's an old school emoji for you. How do you like that? Darvali Design Studios with Nicole Reed. Nothing has changed on my end.
Oh, I think they were talking about that the video up there doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
When you're saying that, they don't see it.
Yeah, they don't see it. Okay. Wait, what's this? Jan's been put in timeout again because of I turned that off. Nightbot should not be doing that with the emojis.
Well, maybe you should turn off Nightbot.
No. I had that so it wouldn't happen. And I don't know why it's doing that. See here. Filters, game, marker, pull, irregulars, tags, disabled.
Well, they just Lucy B got timed out too because she put too many emojis up.
Okay, I said that turn. Where was that? It should have been in this section, I thought. Maybe it's down. Recent spam protection.
Excess symbols enabled.
Oh, okay. Let's turn that. Disable that. There, I'm disabled.
And links are.
What are links? This filter allows you to time out white links. Okay, but that I left that on.
Okay.
Because that could come from spam. Okay, so sorry about anybody who got knocked out because of the Nightbot. I thought I had that turned off, but I guess I didn't. Okay, New Quilting Life is here with Janice. Hello. Um, just checking what people are saying. A happy accident.
Yeah, if you accidentally got timed out because you put too many symbols up, Steve just fixed it so it doesn't do that.
Yeah, or it's not supposed to anyways. I thought I had that off before, but some reason it didn't do it. Hi, Dawn. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, people. All right. Technology, really. Um, well, Nancy's giving it a try. She's put in 4 emojis, so we'll see what happens to Nancy. Okay, so that's what I've been up to. I just bought some fabric.
Yeah, we got timed out for 3 hearts.
Yeah, sorry, Lucy. I don't know why that's even there. I have no idea why Nightbot has that there, but like I said, it's turned off now. Nancy hasn't been kicked out, so it's working. So emoji yourselves to death. Whatever you want. Okay, so I was going to say, yeah, I bought some fabric, got it the other day. I'm showing it on the Idiot Quilter this week, but it's the indigenous stuff that I've been trying to get, and it's been sold out everywhere. So I broke down today and I bought a pattern to go with it that is by somebody. If you remember back when I was doing that Canadian quilt, and I had this pattern from somebody called Patty's Patchwork, and it was horribly written. And I said I'd never buy another one of her patterns. Well, I couldn't find any other patterns for that particular fabric. So I broke down, I bought it, and I hope it's better. We'll see with it. We should learn to communicate with words. Yeah, what happened to that? Lucy's paper piece, some schoolhouse blockchain. Yeah, I actually have a Lone Star that I have had for years as a paper piecing pattern, but it's one of those ones that comes with the, on big sheets, and you lay it all out on that. And I've never done it, and I've had it since I started quilting. So I've had it for about 5 years. It was one of the first things I bought for some reason. Blocks saves distortion. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, your blocks come out really, really accurately. Okay, so if you saw So Chatty this week, and a lot of you did, because a lot of you made comments, apparently we hit a note with many of you. It's the one where we talked about why is it that people buy a new piece of equipment and keep it in the box forever. We talked about fear of unboxing is what we called it. We've heard many times people say, oh, I bought an embroidery machine 3 years ago, but I haven't taken it out of the box yet. Well, it seems like a waste. So we went through a whole number of that. And it seems that a lot of you have really good china. We were using that as an example that you never use either. So you could relate. If you don't have something in a box, you might have china or good silverware that you never use. We have that too. But we do use it. Not often, but we do use it at times. Mm-hmm. But anyways, that one seemed to be a lot more people than I thought have that fear of unboxing. So that's something. Okay. Any of you that came to Stephanie and Stephen, so was Stephanie and Stephen last Wednesday morning, which we are doing every Wednesday morning right now. I have to apologize. I kicked you all out. Well, we were pretty much up to our time anyways, but I didn't intend to do that. I was screwing around with something else, and I didn't think that was going to happen, but it did. I pushed the button and ended the meeting, so everybody just sort of like, bump, like with no, goodbye, thanks for coming, that kind of stuff. So I'm sorry about that. It was very rude. I'm sure you thought, what the hell did we do? Why did he kick us out? No, it was just me being an idiot, playing around. Should never start fooling around with technology while you're using technology. It never ends well. So anyways, we have that this coming Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern time again. And, anybody who wasn't there on Wednesday or don't know what I'm talking about, Stephanie and I are just doing about an hour and a half, 90 minutes of, we're just working on whatever we're working on. And anybody who wants to join us along for that can do it. It's kind of like when I do craft and chat or a pop-up sew day, except shorter, and with Stephanie. Lucy says, Stephen, you've had a great week. Well, yeah. At least Lucy, not you, Lucy, but my Lucy Longarm, she cooperated very well this week. Except we went to Whirls and Swirls, which is our APQS dealer, our long arm dealer. And I had seen on her website that she had these things for clamping your quilt on the sides. And for those of you that don't have a long arm, what this is there's usually a couple of clamps that pull your quilt taut from the sides that you put on. It's actually holds your backing fabric. You don't really put it onto the quilt itself for this because you distort your quilt. But I noticed on Tracy's Whirls and Swirls, her site, she had these ones that were like a bar with a little, like a ropey thing that came out from them, and you clamped onto the rope, and they were long, so they would pull your quilt evenly across. At least that's what I figured the theory was, and I thought that's not a bad idea. So we went down to see Tracy, and I asked her if she had some of those in stock, and she did, and I bought them. They weren't cheap. They were about $50 for this. Got them home, tried them out, hate them. They're called Red E Edge. I watched the video they recommended to show you how to put them on, and no, they didn't seem to grip properly. And then I thought, well, am I not attaching them correctly? So I watched the video again. If actually I found a second video that was a little more detailed in its explanation. No. And they'd be a pain in the butt to have to, every time you move your quilt up, having to move these because you have to unclamp them, clamp them back. I went, nope, I'm just going to go back to my original system because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I sent Tracy an email and told her what the problem was, and she said, yeah, just bring them back. And we find out when we go in that Tracy wasn't sold on them either. She didn't like them. But I guess some of her customers had said to her some time ago, oh, these are great, you got to get them into the store. So she did. But yeah. But anyways, Tracy gave me a refund on them. Actually, I bought some variegated thread from her for Lucy, so kind of a trade-off on that. But yeah, but I'll be talking a little bit more about those on the Idiot Quilter this week too, and show you what they look like. Okay, what are people saying?
You gotta go back a bit.
Yeah.
Talk safe distortion.
Oh, Patsy's here. Hi, Patsy.
Yeah, use Lucy B in the middle.
Oh, paper piece of. Oh yeah, okay. Patsy says, when I buy a new toy, I can't wait to unbox it. Yeah, I'm the same way. You know. Nancy says, I heard a chat from you talking as about fear. You have a pattern, Stephen. Haha. I'm going to read this again. Are you
a fear of using a pattern? Or?
I heard a chat from you talking about fear. You have a pattern.
Okay, we don't understand.
Okay, Nancy, we're a little confused. Maybe, and Derek Smith explains why the treadmill in my house isn't being used. Fear of unboxing? Oh, have you got it out of the box at least? Jeannie says, I thought you just kicked me out. Yeah, Jeannie, well, it's not the first time I've done that to you by accident, of course. Yeah. Julie says, hi, Julie. We figured the abrupt end was just a tech mistake. No big deal. Well, I'm glad you understood that because it exactly was a tech mistake. Barb says, Steven, stop touching the buttons. Yeah, I know. I've always been fascinated by buttons. And I do remember when I was a little kid and we lived in a town outside of Peterborough and we went to the Sears store and they had an escalator because they were two-story.
Oh, yeah.
And my mother, you know, in those days, no one cared what the kids were doing in the store. We'd always say to my mother, we're going to look at the toys. And I'd take off with my little brother. And I was probably 7 and he would have been 3. So, you know, or whatever. I might have been a little older than that. I might have been 8 or 9 because Craig was, you know, a little more than just a baby. But he was still very, very young. So I was supposed to look after him. So we'd take off and look in the toy section, you know, that kind of thing. But then we'd go over and we'd play with the escalator. And we loved riding the escalator. But we liked even more was the little button at the bottom of the escalator that said, do not push, emergency stop. And so we'd be looking at it going, well, we shouldn't touch that. We'll get in trouble. And so I could always suck him in. I go, Craig, why don't you go over and push that button? Says you're not supposed to push the button. I said, oh, no, no, just push it. Just push it. See what happens. He'd go over and he'd push it. Suddenly the escalator would stop and there's all these people on it. And then we'd run back into the toy section. And my mother'd come out and go, somebody stopped the escalator. All these people seemed a little upset about it. And we go, really? We've been in the toy section all this time. Wasn't us? I have a feeling she knew it was us because she ushered us out of the store very quickly. Yeah, so I have a thing about pushing buttons. Stephanie says, it's okay, Steve. You were just living up to your name.
Idiot Quilter.
Oh, idiot. Yeah, okay, I get it now.
Can you see your love with
Stefan,
replay?
I'm working, so I'd have to watch replay. Can you see your love?
That's just live.
Oh, live. Okay, with Stefan replay. Yeah, you can't.
No,
No,
you
you
can't.
can't. It's a Zoom. It's a Zoom. It's not a YouTube live. It's a Zoom. So sorry about that. And we're not recording it because it would be, well,
Yeah,
basically boring.
Stephanie already says that.
Oh, okay. I'm behind here. God, that went up there. Okay.
Sue Norfleet's the next one. I thought you got bored with us.
Well, never mind. No, 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 no. I just hit the wrong button. What I was doing was, after that, I had an interview scheduled. But while we were doing the live, the person I was going to interview sent me an email, and I got my time zones mixed up. I thought we were doing it at 11, but basically it's 11 her time. It was 1 o'clock my time, but I was going on 11. So she was just making sure. So then I realized I needed to edit the link in Zoom because I was doing the interview through Zoom. So I went into Zoom on my phone because I'm using Zoom on the computer. But the thing was, it wouldn't let me get in and do a rescheduling because I was already on Zoom, sort of a thing. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just go out of it, and I hit end for all, thinking it was just going to end me on that one on the phone. No, it ended it for everybody, just like I said, end for all. So don't do that again. That's why it went down. Don says, wonder if the big chip clips would work. I
don't think so.
You mean those? No, they wouldn't be strong enough to stay on there because it's a lot of tension with it. My machine came with big industrial size clamps that really hang on to things. And yeah,
but he was just looking at these strips that they might give you an even pull for the going on the sides. Because they were wide.
Yeah.
And whereas the two clamps he has gives you a pull in that specific spot.
Yeah.
On either side. But if you had a really wide one, it would give you an even pull on both sides.
I think the concept is really a good idea.
Yeah.
They need to rethink though how these work because their
execution isn't it doesn't work right.
No. They even showed in one of the videos, if you have a frayed edge on your fabric, and you usually do when you're using backing fabric on something this size, use a pin to push the fabric in. Well, I'm not doing that every time I roll my quilt up for the next section. No,
you want something that's easy to clamp on both sides. So,
like, you don't want to spend all day feeding your fabric in through a little hole, kind of a thing. Teresa says, I put a set of red snappers on my frame at one time, didn't like them. I found they were so stiff, I couldn't get them to click. Took them off, went back to pins. I have heard this from several.
Stephanie has the same problem.
I don't. I use the red snappers, and they're not a problem. However, if you have arthritis in your hands or something like that, then they could be a problem. But there is a trick. You have to get your roller so that they're sitting in a way that you can leverage your hand on them. I put them on with one hand, and I don't have an abnormally strong
grip. He has
grip.
limp wrists, so.
Oh, push punch. You're such a one. Once again, emoji for you. Okay. So I never have a problem, and I absolutely love them with it. So Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe they're meant for men, not for women, for you delicate ladies. I'm not sure. But I do find if you get the angle right, the top bar piece, plastic piece that goes, through the leader, and then all you have to do is you just sort of put your hands on top of it and you just kind of curve it like this to push them on. Anyways, it works for me, so I'm happy with them. But I have heard other people say that too. Stephanie still pins. Okay. I mean, to me, I didn't, me and pins. It's bloodletting. So, yeah, I stay away from them. But I've been using these since day one. Tracy at Whirls and Swirls recommended that she uses them all the time too. So, oops. Why does that thing want to do that?
Okay, we're at Stephanie and Teresa. Now it's Lucy B went up the down escalator.
Okay, that's different. That was difficult.
Yeah, I know. It's not hard. It's not easy to do.
Did you notice anything a little different? Did you notice that you weren't really getting anywhere while you were doing this? Just saying.
Just don't do it in the London tube, right?
Oh, yeah, God. Those ones are so steep. Pamela says, I remember my brother giving a little boy mannequin a hug and the arm fell off. Good times. And Nicole says, have a great day, everyone. Have to get ready for work. Unfortunately for me, it is 7:30 a.m. Monday here in Australia. Oh, you're in Australia. Didn't realize that, Nicole.
It'll be nice and warm.
Yeah, the start of another work week. Have a great day. Yeah, you too. Diane Miller says, very late, making mug rugs and bowl cozy. And Jan says, Mr. Bland, there's absolutely no help for you. Okay. Jan, sometimes it's with all those emojis when I wish I'd put the Nightbot back on. I kind of enjoy it when Jan goes into timeout. I think it's funny. Tracy says, so tight magnums are supposed to be great you sew the back of the magnet inside the leader. Yeah, I've heard of those, and I also know that some people have zippers that they use as well. But like I said, for me, these are working, and I'm not going to change. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Walter, you're so funny. Yeah, in many ways. Paul says, I put a dowel in a piece of fabric and pin it on the sides of the backing, then put my clamps over the dowel, and it pulls the sides evenly on my long arm. Okay. Well, that's kind of like the principle of these things I bought, but they just don't hold. But so you put a dowel in a piece of fabric and pin it on the side. Oh, I see what you do. Oh, I get it. Yeah, but it's pins again.
Yeah.
No, sticking to the clamps I've got. Teresa says, I think you have to break the red snappers in too, but you're right about the arthritis in the hands. I used them for a few months, then gave up. Yeah, mine are still working really well. They haven't loosened their grip, but I don't know. I've heard other people, as I said, say that about them. Jan says, that's what I do. Love watching Walter's reaction. Lee is here. Hi, Lee. I cut the clamp section of the red snappers into small sections. Love them. Yeah, okay, you could do that as well, because that might be easier than the one long piece kind of a thing. So that's a possibility too. So lots of ideas here. Okay, so what did everybody do for Valentine's Day? We don't usually do Valentine's Day, but Walter cooked a very nice dinner. It was so romantic, just so dreamy. Not really. Nice look on your face. Yeah, you're just a hopeless romantic. Not. Walter did surf and turf. So we had steak and lobster tails. It was very nice. And
I went out and bought some dessert.
Yes, you got. What did we have?
Long Johns.
Oh, Long Johns. Yeah, they were good. Not the underwear. Eclairs, basically.
Basically, they're eclairs.
They're eclairs. Our local bakery calls them Long Johns. They were good. Very good. And we had a nice special bottle of wine. It's that one we like. That's expensive. Well, it's not that bad. It's $20 a bottle, but... Or did you say that was on sale?
It was on sale for $20. It was $23.
Oh, they put that up. It used to be $19.99. Okay. So yeah, it was a nice evening. Food was good. It's very nicely done. He did everything in the sous vide, which is the best invention since sliced bread.
Yeah, Teresa, we don't really care that much about Valentine's Day either, but it
No,
was excuse to do a special dinner.
yeah, and I love lobster. So, um, Teresa says, I think you have to. Oh yeah, we read that.
Yeah, actually, I've heard that the most interesting part of Valentine's Day is for the florists because then they get all the guys that phone up and send flowers to their wife and their two girlfriends.
Yeah. Nancy did nothing for Valentine's Day, just played with Sadie, my doxy. Long John's here is a fish house. Oh, okay. Like Long John Silver. We used to have those in Canada, but I don't think we do anymore, at least not here in Ontario. Steph said, we didn't go anywhere, but my husband gave me a nice gift, and I don't like mug rugs, but he does, so I made him one from Boutiques. That's
Yeah, I
nice.
remember you saying that. It had a nice heart on.
Yeah, that's right. We saw that. You're you're a filthy pig. Yeah, Sue said I bought prime beef fillets and fixed a nice dinner, better than going out. Well, with what you'd have to pay if you went out, because they escalate the prices, and a lot of places do a fixed menu, for two for like a couple of $100 or more. Shelley had a meeting on Valentine's Day. France said nothing here for Valentine's Day. I did buy specialty cookies for the granddaughters. The cookies are good. Paula says nothing, but I got flowers the next day from someone I gave the sew along quilt to. He loved it. Oh, okay. Secret admirer. Yeah, well, Valentine's Day, bah humbug, it's over, yay. So what's our next major event? Oh, St. Patty's Day, St. Patrick's Day. Green beer.
No thanks.
That's just an excuse for a lot of people that already are drunk to get even drunker.
Yeah, I know. We made the mistake of going to pre-COVID, going to a bar during St. Patty's Day, and it was you couldn't hear yourself think.
When was that?
That was we went to the courtyard where we were normally go.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's a pub, and it was like wall to wall people. We're sitting in the middle having dinner,
Yeah.
and everybody's like hammered. So
Yeah, it was not a thrill. Yeah. Dawn worked, and Purple Wall K says it was my first Valentine's Day in first grade.
do you teach?
Oh, is that yeah, well, remember when we were kids in elementary school, Valentine's Day, everybody got those cheap old punch out hearts and everything,
yeah,
and you gave them out, and we made boxes for them. I remember it was part of your art session in school. You made these decorated boxes, and everybody, gave their Valentines. I always gave one to everyone in the class, but then there were those who didn't.
Yeah,
They were usually a snotty little bitch of a girl, that I don't like.
I don't remember that much about Valentine's when I was in grade school. Got those stupid punch out Valentines, but
Lucy's birthday is next. Okay. National holiday. It's Lucy's birthday. Barb says St. Patty's is not my favorite holiday. Yeah, I don't get it. They don't even really celebrate it in Ireland. Of course, every day St. Patty's Day in Ireland. Yeah, because what they say about the Irish
Teresa
is true.
Saying about St. Patty's in London, but I was thinking when you said in London, I always think of London, England, not London, Ontario.
Oh, yeah. There was a riot by the college a few years ago. Now the police presence keeps things pretty quiet. Yeah. Well, when I went to university, we had the green beer thing going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't into beer when I was in university. In fact, I couldn't afford. I was very cheap and very conscious of costs in university. So I never bought any kind of booze, very rarely. If you couldn't get it on your meal card, the way they did it at Guelph when I went there, then I didn't do it. But I remember the green beer. And everybody's tongue was green too, because they put in food coloring. So for a week later, people had green tongues. Kay says they were so excited to hand out Valentine's. Very cute. Yeah, kids like that kind of stuff. Elementary school IDS still decorate kids. Okay. The elementary school kids still decorate boxes. Some are really creative. Yep. Um, yep, I got that, Julie. Not ids, kids. Francis says, and Walter, I used to work in a clothing shop with fancy lingerie. Some highly religious dude bought 2 sets of lingerie. I still haven't figured out the girlfriend, but knew the wife. You know, buying lingerie for a woman, well, maybe it's because
He wants her to look fancy.
I guess
I don't.
I've never understood the appeal of lingerie. Really.
Maybe he bought a set for himself.
Oh, ooh. Running around in women's clothes. Yeah, okay. Mel says Valentine's Day is mostly a commercial event here. It wasn't brought here until 79, so it's not really part of our tradition. Well, actually, Valentine's Day has always been a commercial thing. It is not. It was created by the interest. Now, some people say, you know, well, it stems back to the ancient Greeks with Aphrodite and all that kind of thing. Others say it's because of the St. Valentine's Day massacre kind of a thing in Chicago. And I don't know, there's all kinds of legends and stories around it. What
Yeah, no, I'm just laughing because, yeah, there's a number of guys that seem to like ladies' lingerie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, more than
A lady I used to work with said, how do you know if your husband's into wearing lingerie? And I said, why, your panties kind of big?
Oh, Cheryl's here. Hi, Cheryl. And Andy's here. Andy says in Chicago, they dye the Chicago River green. You're kidding. They do? Wow. Derek says, Valentine's Day at work was interesting this year. The wife of one of the faculty came in and served him with divorce papers on the grounds of infidelity.
Oh.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. Shelley says it's a Hallmark convention. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it is. It's another one of those holidays where chocolate manufacturers and people, another sales day, another sales event for stores or companies. So,
well, the florists love it. My sister used to work for a florist for a flower shop, and she said Valentine's was the busiest event of the year because people were just spending money fist over fist. I mean, roses are astronomical. If you get red long stem roses, a dozen of them, it costs like several $100s. Might be even more than that, depending on where you get them, kind of a thing. So, you know, reminds me of a joke. What would you rather have? Tulips on a piano? Wait. No. Roses on a piano,
you get that screwed up all the time.
Roses on a piano or tulips on an organ? Discuss. Never mind. Now we know where the other set of lingerie went. Stephanie says, yeah. Yeah, Frances says she worked in a flower shop too and she hated the holidays. Yeah, it's a Hallmark and florist expansion thing. And chocolate. And the chocolate is really, like, you get those heart-shaped boxes and, you know, don't buy them at Walmart.
3 chocolates in them?
Yeah, 3 chocolates in them. What's the brand that Walmart always carries? Russell Stover.
Yeah.
And they usually have a little mini heart box at Valentine's Day, and it's got 3 chocolates in it, and I forget how much it is, like $6.99 or something. Probably more than that. Shelley says, can't figure out why car manufacturers advertise cars for gifts for all the holidays.
Well, you know, there are people that do that. People that are well off buy a car for their kid for a holiday.
Yeah, well, that's the rich. Julie says, I grew up in a Catholic parish for a St. Patrick's church. They had a big corned beef dinner for St. Patrick's Day every year. Actually, we have seen supposedly the grave of St. Patrick. I can't tell you what place in Ireland we were in, but it was a churchyard, and they had, I don't think it was legit, but they did have a marker, like supposedly that's where St. Patrick, you know, drove the snakes out of Ireland, supposedly. Actually, he didn't do any of that. That's all legend. He was a missionary who came in to convert the Irish heathens back in, I don't know what, something like 500 AD or something like that, to Christianity. And I think there's some horror stories about him and his methodology that he used. I forget where I read that or saw that at one point in time. But yeah, he was kind of not a saint that really should have been honored. I
No,
don't think.
but that happens true
Yeah,
with
I guess.
other people.
Yeah. Oh, Lucy doesn't like corned beef. Oh, I do.
I don't mind it. I think
Corned
it's
beef
okay.
and cabbage. Yum, yum, yum. Yes, I love that. Of course, when you're boiling the cabbage, your whole house smells like an outhouse. But, instead of insanely expensive flowers on Valentine's Day, I'd rather have a bunch of artificial ones out of a thrift shop and use the cash for mortgage down payment, Teresa says. Yeah, true. I'm allergic to fresh flowers, Sue says, in the house. It's real romantic when my eyes swell shut, so my husband gets off pretty easy on Valentine's. Yeah. And Francis, they do that here too, Julie. It's sponsored by the Knights of Columbus, and it's BYOB. Okay. I just think St. Patty's Day is just an excuse to drink green beer and get drunk. He says as he has a Guinness. So anyways, yep. Valentine's Day, it's over. Moving on. Okay, so a little bit more serious topic now. So I'm sure some of you, or some of not, depends on how much you know about Canadian politics, or especially Ontario. But the mayor, speaking of
We
having
talked
a mistress,
about that last week.
I know, but there's an extension to it now. So to make a long story short, we talked about last week, the mayor of Toronto has resigned because he had an affair with a staff member. And so he said he would resign after he pushed the Toronto budget through. Because he was bound and determined that this was going to go through. Now, part of the problem with that budget, besides the fact that there was going to be a tax increase because Toronto doesn't have any money and they can't afford any of their services, is that they were making an increase to the Toronto City Police to the tune of about $45 million more dollars. And that makes that their budget amount is $1.16 billion a year. 1.16 billion. In the meantime, there's a group of individuals who would rather see that money, or part of that money, go towards warming centers for the homeless and into new developments of affordable housing for the homeless as well, because Toronto has a major homeless problem. But no, he's giving it to the police because Toronto the good, not so good, there has been an increase over the last few years, of a lot of wacko crimes that are killing people, like people just randomly slashing someone with a knife, pushing them in front of subway trains, beating them up on the street, all this kind of stuff. Plus, there's all these young guys are going in during daylight hours into pharmacies and stealing all the narcotics, the opiates, there, and the whole bit, and holding the at gunpoint or knife point the pharmacist in the whole bit. So his solution for all this is to give more money to the cops. To do what? We're not sure. I mean, the assumption is to hire more cops. But will that really happen? These other ones are saying, no, that money should go into services for having more support workers, mental health, because a lot of these crimes that are being committed are people who have some mental health issues, and they don't have they're not getting what they need, the services they need for that. So they feel that would have, putting the money into social programs would help cut down on a lot of this random crime that's happening. They're calling it random because these people don't know the victims. They're not known. They're just picking somebody and go, I'll slash you. Yeah, it's kind of scary. You're walking down town in Toronto and some guy jumps out of a doorway and cuts you. Yeah, not good. But no, he ramrodded that thing through because he has these special powers that our asshole Doug Ford, who's our premier, gave him, which allows him to basically have more power of veto over city council. And so he was ramming that through. Now he has resigned, and the deputy mayor has stepped in, and now it's going to take them about 6 months or longer, 6 to 8 months, for Toronto to get their act together so they can have a by-election to put in a new mayor. Yeah.
Which costs a lot of money.
Which costs a lot of money. In fact, if you want to run for mayor for the city of Toronto, they said it costs upwards to from $800,000 to $1 million just to run for mayor. Well, yeah. Poor people aren't in politics because they can't afford it. It's only the rich who get richer that are in there. So, do you think the system is broken? Well, in Toronto, it's definitely broken. If you're planning a vacation to city of Toronto this coming summer, don't. I mean it. Don't. I mean, think of what New York City was like in the 1980s. And Toronto's kind of on that route right now. We don't go into the city.
Mel's asking how many homeless are in Toronto. Actually, I don't know, but there's a lot. I have heard from people that I know that live still in the city that say it's a real problem.
Yeah, it's a major, major problem. And what the answer is to that, what the Toronto City Council gets the cops to do is to destroy their tent cities and take everything that they've got, take all their, what few possessions they own, and they throw them in dumpsters and the whole bit. And it becomes fairly violent as well. And then there's protesters who are supporting the homeless and want to get them, help them get something better. But their hands are tied because it takes money. And so all that money's going to the cops. Well, the cops, no, we're not getting the bang for our buck with the cops. They are sadly not doing the job that they're supposed to do.
There's so much bureaucracy and everything else that occurs that the money isn't getting there, and they're not managed well. So
no, not at all. And they are egotistical, power-hungry individuals that are in the police force. Now, is that all of them? Yeah, pretty much. And for those of you that are Americans, you just turn on your news on any given day and you have fine examples of that in your country as well. And that's how ours is becoming too. But
Francis, there are some violent crimes that victims are homeless, but not all of them. There are people, just everyday people that are on the subway that get
people going to work.
That for some reason they don't seem to think that it's a targeted individual or something.
And it's not like they're being robbed or mugged. They're just being harmed, physically harmed, and seriously. Some of those people have died from it. And then they go looking for these people, and the cops never seem to be able to find them. They're too busy doing all these little, or these big, I don't know what you call them. They're plans, Operation Bogus, Operation Let's Catch the Guy, whatever kind of a thing. And then they had these great big huge announcements where they've just knocked out somebody that had like 10 million pounds of crack cocaine or something like this, and they display it all out, lay it all out like it's a store window or something, and put it on the news and that kind of stuff. Whereas they're not out on the streets doing their job. Now, there is a contingency of people who not only don't want to see the cops getting an increase in funding, they want the police force abolished. I don't know how that would work. I don't go as far as to say that. But I think they need to start earning their money. That money's being used up in areas that are not in police servicing. It's administration. I don't know what else that money's going to. But no, they're not putting more cops on the beat for this. And they need to train the cops better too. These cops are not getting proper training how to deal with people with mental issues. They're basically their policy is, hey, crazy, I'll shoot you. And they've done that so many times. There was a young lad, mental issues. He was on a streetcar. This is back about 4 or 5 years ago or so. And he
He was,
he let the people off. He let the people go. He had a knife.
yeah.
And the cops wanted him off. And there was like 5 or 6 cops. And they all had their guns drawn on this young lad. He hadn't hurt anybody yet. He was mentally not well at all. And he didn't get off the tram, off the trolley. Or the streetcar. I'm using other nationalities' terms for it. We call it a streetcar. Off the streetcar. Finally, they got him to start coming off. They want, hands up, get rid of the weapon a little bit. He got off, but he still had the knife in his hand, holding it up. He wasn't anywhere near a cop where he could stab them. He didn't run at them and attack them. One of the cops pulled his gun and shot him. Several times. Dead. And those cops were put on suspension with pay. And they finally went to court for this. And I'm not sure what the outcome of that was, but it wasn't what I think they got. I don't think they did time for it all.
I'm not sure. We'd have to look it up.
I'd have to look that one up.
There was a charge, but I don't think it was as serious as people.
What it should have been.
Should have been.
Because basically they murdered him. If somebody had approached a cop and shot at them, they'd be charged with attempted murder. And rightly so. Okay. I mean, I don't disagree with that. But if there had been someone there who'd been trained in mental health situations like this, they might have been able to have de-escalated the situation, and maybe that young man would still be alive today. Sure. He'd be penalized. He'd probably have to go to prison for a time and everything because he was doing something that was against the law. But he would have been alive out of it. But that's what they do. Shoot first, ask questions later. Seems to be the policy. They're all trigger happy. And if you're a person of color, well, you get pulled over by a cop, who knows? Now, it's worse in the States for that kind of thing, at least according to the news, but it's coming here. It is not, it's going to be here. It's just we're going the same way. So, yeah. But this is the mess that John Tory, the mayor of Toronto, left. He got his budget through. And I guess once that's been passed, and it was passed by City Council, he had a few cronies in there that supported him. And I'm not sure what the logistics are, but basically he got his way because he has these extra powers and everything. So now they can't be rescinded. So time will tell how this, I mean, a lot of people might think that more money the cops get, the less crime there's going to be because they can use it. It's not going to change. It's not going to change it because that money will be squandered away. I think they did, Barb. I think they did have a lawsuit against the police, but the problem is it'll be tied up in the courts.
No, it was. They had a trial for that one.
Yeah.
That was that Yassine or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The one that actually pulled the trigger. Yeah. And did he?
No, that was the guy that got shot. Sammy Yassine.
Yeah, Sammy Yassine. But the cop.
Yeah, they had a trial for him, and I can't remember what the outcome was.
I don't know what the outcome
I don't think it was. I think he got like 6 months in jail or something, but I don't think.
It wasn't anywhere what he should have got with it. So just backing up here. Yeah, Shelley says, where are they to go? If there was some place, they would already be there. Yeah, that's the other thing. Now, these people who want more, housing for them and that, well, that takes time, but it does take money, and that's what they're fighting for. The money would be better spent, helping the homeless, giving them shelter, that kind of thing, affordable housing. But, it's a bigger problem than just giving them a place to live, too. I mean, these people, many of them do have some mental issues too. So they need to have some support for that, to help them with that. They need to be, given some skills that are marketable, help them train for something that they can get a decent job with. Because, I mean.
Yeah, he didn't get any jail time. I just looked
He
it
got
up.
nothing.
No, I didn't get any jail time.
That's just ludicrous. Our justice system at work. But anyways, what I was saying about the homeless people, I mean, you got to give them training. You got to give them some opportunities to make their own money. You know, it's that old adage.
Well, the other part of the problem with the homeless system, why there's so many homeless, is that the way our social services work is that to get money from social services, you have to have a fixed address, meaning that you have a place to live before you get your money. And homeless people don't have a fixed address, so they don't get any money.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just kind of a vicious circle, isn't it? With that. Derek says, just seems so hard to get politicians to work together to deliver decent public services. The First Minister of Scotland suddenly announced her resignation this week. So goodness knows who you'll get instead. Yeah, well, you know, and I have said this many times before. First of all, the people that are in politics are not there for the people who put them into power in the first place, the average taxpayer, the voter. They're there because they want the power and they want the money they get from it. They could care less once they're in office. I mean, our politicians get really good
get
pension.
money, and then they get publicity,
Yep.
and then they get they're in politics for a couple of years, and then they get a cushy government job or something like that afterwards.
Yeah, they double dip into it. Plus, these people are networking. They're maybe meeting other people who are CEOs of companies and important people. And so, I mean, every time a politician steps down from being a member of the legislature or parliament, you hear the next thing you hear is they've become the CEO of some corporation or something like that. They get a cushy
or they
job.
get a cushy job high up somewhere.
Yeah, they could care less about the people. And yet, we're the ones that put them in power. What can we do about that, though? I mean, okay, so a lot of people decide they're not going to vote because, you know, there's no one to vote for. They're all assholes. And I agree. And the way I vote is I believe I need to vote because if you don't vote, you don't have the right to criticize the government because you didn't bother to vote. That's the way I feel about it. But it's a difficult decision on who you're going to vote for. So you pick the lesser of the evils, and they're all evil. Every one of them is evil. That's in politics. So, you know, we're screwed. Now, there are those who want to overthrow the government. You know, the truck drivers.
Yeah, but then they don't have a solution.
But they don't have a solution.
Like, I mean, there's a lot of people calling for defunding the police in Toronto, but they don't offer an alternative. So,
yeah. So there we go. So, you know,
let's get rid of the police, but then don't offer any alternative.
Well, I think we're moving towards anarchy. You know, history does repeat itself. And all you have to do is look at the great revolutions in the world. Think of the French Revolution. Think of the Russian Revolution. And what were those all about? Well, the people in power were getting richer and were abusing the people without any power and without any money. The peasants and the whole bit. So us, the average man, we're basically those peasants. And it will come to a breaking point. We will revolt. But what that may lead to, who knows, in the 21st century. A little different in the 1700s, a little different at the turn of the 20th century in Russia. But, you know, and there's been other countries in the world that have had uprisings and things like that, but usually go with the military and shoot them all. So, who knows? It's very discouraging. You know, we're very broken. We feel a sense of, and I titled this, a sense of abandonment, hopelessness. I mean, who do you turn to help you out? We have spam callers all the time. Nobody seems to be able to do anything about that. We have people being, you know, their life savings being stolen by fraudulent individuals on the phone, on the internet, everything like that. The government have a call line. You can report this to them. So, and I have reported them. There's a form you can fill out online for the Canadian government about it. What happens to all that information? Nothing. It goes into the black hole of a computer system. No one ever sees it again with it. They don't do anything.
Phone companies don't seem to be doing anything to control it either.
No, they just let it go as well. I mean, yeah, it is probably very difficult to control. China doesn't seem to have a problem. Of course, nobody gets on the internet in China except for they have a big, iron curtain kind of a thing that stops, anybody from outside getting into their system. So, I mean, that's not really a solution. That's censorship. But, think about all these companies out there that you buy things from, and as soon as you have a problem, they can't do too little for you. It's very, very discouraging. You walk into a grocery store and you have to take a second mortgage out to buy a green pepper. All of these things. Our government is supposed to regulate things like that. They're supposed to be there to help us out. They do nothing. The grocery stores, the big chain here in Ontario called Loblaws, have record profits in the last quarter. And yet they turn around and say, oh, well, we froze prices for a while. No, they didn't. They upped the prices, then froze them for a couple of months.
And now they've upped them again.
And they've upped them again with it. Where's the government for this? Well, they're looking into it to see if they're causing a monopoly or something like that. Yeah, so they hire their buddies to do this research for a year, write this 5,000-page report. They all get big money for it, and they have recommendations, and then you hear nothing about it again. It gets shelved. There's a big library somewhere in this country that has all these reports. It's the most valuable library in this whole country, because if you were to figure out how much each one of those reports costs to write and add it up, that library would be housing billions, trillions, and more. What's after a trillion? Dollars. Gazillion, whatever with it. It's ridiculous. But that's what our government does. We'll write a report. We'll get a commission on that. We'll do some fact finding. And then that's just to keep us quiet for a while, thinking something's being done.
It's like the big thing that they did when Trudeau invoked the Emergencies Act for the Canadian truck convoy, and he invoked that to get them to break up and everything else. They just finished a great big huge inquiry that cost I don't know how much dollars to do that, just to announce that he was in his right to do that.
Yeah, that's the final line of that. Oh, that, geez. And you know that report and that thing cost in the 6 digits or more. It probably cost over $1 million, several $1 million. Oh yeah, several $1 million to do that. So we're being abandoned, and that's just going to create another health problem for us all. Mental. That adds stress to everybody's life, but there's no services to help you. Don't get sick because there's no hospital services to help you. And in a few years' time, it's going to be so completely privatized, if the Ontario government gets their way, that we'll be just like Americans. We won't be able to afford it. And we'll have to have, health insurance that's going to be costing us, everything that we've got in order to have that. It's kind of sad, You really wonder that maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing if suddenly aliens came down and wiped us out. Let's start over, kind of a thing, because we're not doing a good job at all. So what people say here, that's still true, Lucy? In the UK, I knew at one time that they were not armed, and so I guess they still aren't. So they seem to be effective. This thing all popped up here.
Yeah, we already went through all of those.
Did we?
Or did we?
Some of them.
The parents of the young man should have sued. Okay, yeah. And then,
well, Derek said something. It's sad. During lockdown, many cities found shelters for homeless people, but these suddenly vanished after the pandemic eased. If we could house them back then. Yeah, they put them in hotels and things like that, but they also were housing temporarily anybody who was coming from the Ukraine and the whole bit. And before that, Syria, here in our country. And I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't do something like that. That's for humanitarian reasons. But what about our homeless people? Our Canadian citizens that can't afford to have a shelter over their head. I mean, in my way of thinking, shouldn't we be looking after our own first with that? Shelley says a lot of them have animals and they can't take them to shelters. Yeah. And why can't they take them to shelters? I always feel bad when I see a homeless person on the street that has an animal with them. I feel bad for the animal, But of course, I think some of them actually use that for the sympathy thing to see if they can get more money out of you. And then there's the other thing too: is are some of these people really homeless, or are they, playing on people's sensibilities, kind of a thing, on their emotions? So that's a problem in itself. Lucy says our prime minister doesn't need the money. I wonder how long he'll put up with all the flack he gets.
Yeah, he's got a rich wife, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And Green Quilt says, not so with regard to the former Chancellor of Germany. That's why Dennis the Menace wouldn't shake her hand.
Trump.
Oh, Trump. Oh, yeah, right, okay. Kathy's here. Hi, Kathy. Stephanie says, happening here in Ohio, victims of the train derailment. Small, low-income town is essentially being ignored, and the rich train companies trying to cover it up, and the government helping said company. Yeah, I heard about that they had that big train explosion, derailment, whatever, and the chemicals, and that their water has been contaminated, and it's carcinogenic and the whole bit, and the government is basically doing nothing. I mean, yeah, that's not right. But apparently, if you get away with it, yeah. Derek says our supermarkets seem to be in profit, but the shelves for fresh fruit and vegetables don't have a consistent supply. Because of this, they're trying to shop at smaller local stores, but not always easy. Yeah, I don't know. And everybody blames everything on COVID. And yes, COVID had a tremendous effect on us all. But now I think the COVID excuse is becoming just a little too convenient for those grocery stores and other businesses that want to gouge us. Mal says the world's developing in a very dangerous direction. It's said that man is the smartest of all mammals. Unfortunately, he's so smart that he destroys himself in the end. I agree with you, Mal. I think that's where we're headed. That's talking about so it's 1.5 hours away from Stephanie where that train thing happened. She has a friend that lives there close. Their water is rainbow colored in the tap. Ooh. Pretty, but not you don't want that in your water. No, because that says there's all kinds of fun things in your water that are not so much fun. So yeah, it's very disparaging, it's and discouraging for all this. And
oh wow,
what's that?
It says the governor visited the town and told them the water was safe to drink and refused to tap for water bottle.
Oh God.
Yeah, right.
That just shows you the cleverness of politicians too. Power hungry, lots of money, rich and stupid.
And then when people get sick and die from it, they then they don't, unless it becomes a real big embarrassment, they won't do anything about it.
Yeah, and Lucy says broken supply chains are now blamed on Putin here in Great Britain. Well, that's the other excuse they use is that too. We've heard that here in our own country as well. Of course, our biggest thing in the news these days, besides the mayor of Toronto resigning, are the balloons. The balloons from China or wherever. Spy
UFOs.
Balloons. UFOs. Yeah, flying over. So
Yeah, I know they shot down these things, and in this day and age of technology, they can't seem to find the debris.
can't find it. Don't know where that went. There is some small Chinese child crying right now because their balloon, they let go of it. And those
Don't
nasty
tell me they
Canadians shot
can't.
it down.
In this day and age of technology, they can't figure out where the debris fell.
Yeah, well, they don't want us to know what
Yeah.
they are for whatever reason. Um,
Yeah, deaths may not occur right away. It will take a while for them to get poisoned.
Yeah.
And why, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't be listening to that. I'd be going out and buying a bottle of water if you can afford it.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of the problem.
Yeah. Of course. Where's the bottled water come from? Yeah, they say spring fed. Are they really? Or are they just filling up tap?
Make sure you get the stuff that's not sourced from Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't drink the water in Ohio. Yeah. Lucy says we have balloons too. Oh, I didn't know that Britain had. What's this thing with the balloons? It can't be aliens because unless they're stupid aliens. Oh yeah, we can cross over the Milky Way in a balloon. Okay. You're not human. I can't help but think that
get it upstream from Ohio.
yeah, that maybe these balloons and things and the noise you're making is that our governments have got a plan for this. There's something they're trying to divert our attention from the other shit things they do. I don't know.
That's possible.
I have become a real
or
conspiracy.
they're now you've got Ohio thing now, like we can fill the news with UFOs.
Yeah. Let's divert their people's attention. They'll forget real quick. Squirrel. Oh look, balloon, pretty. Oh look, balloon fall down, bang. Whatever. Well, I don't know. I'm really trying to find some topics for Stephen and Walter Live that are uplifting. Not having a good time finding them or easy time finding stuff like that. Yeah. So if you have suggestions, we could try that because
we got to stop negatives crap.
I know we feel like those two guys on the Muppet Show, Statler and whatever the other guy's name is, there. Yeah, we need something more cheery to talk about. Well, in a couple of months' time, we'll be off to Vancouver, so maybe we'll have fun things to report from there. I hope. With that. That water reminds me of that of Julia Roberts' film. Yeah.
Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah. In Green Quilt says the water in Ontario has been sold to be bottled, so municipalities can't get it.
I don't know. Our municipalities just dredge from the lake.
Yeah. Ew. Cheryl says, go make a quilt. Yeah, true. And Dana says, another Aaron Brockovich, yeah, movie to come. Yeah, probably sequel for that. Well, anyway, sorry that we're ending on sort of a negative note with it all. But on a positive side, there's my vlog, An Idiot Quilter, this week. And we've got, for those of you that can make it, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. All are welcome. Join us for an hour and a half of, just doing what we like to do. And yeah, we don't have anything exciting coming up this week, do we? No, we just have company.
Tomorrow's a holiday.
Oh yeah, tomorrow is a holiday here in Canada. It's Family Day. I don't know if every province has it though.
No, usually I think every province has the day off. There's only about 3 or 4 call it Family Day, and the rest call it something else.
Oh. Anyways, yay. It was great when I was a school teacher. Liked having that long weekend. They always planned a PD day on the Friday. And even though we had to show up for PD day and be bored to tears with some stupid thing about curriculum or whatever.
PD stands for professional development.
Yeah. PD. Almost sound like you said VD, and that's something totally different.
No, that's...
No. Anyways, but they have President's Day tomorrow in the States.
Oh, okay.
So they have a holiday here. Okay. So everybody enjoy your long weekend. What's left of it? Enjoy tomorrow not having to go to work if you're one of the lucky people that don't have to go to work. Some may still have to work tomorrow because it's not really a statutory here in Canada, is it?
Not really. I think it's a provincial holiday.
Yeah. So things could be open. Certain things. Whatever. Okay. it's time for us to go. And I hope everybody has a good week. And we'll see you next week for another edition of Steven. It's a lie. Okay, whatever. So I'm cooking dinner tonight, aren't I?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.